Welcome to the ECL channel. Today we have the privilege of meeting with Professor Gordon McVie, an international authority on the treatment and research of cancer. Professor McVie, we are so pleased to have this opportunity with you here at ECL. Would you please tell us about the different hats that you're wearing at the moment?
Well, I have only one head, and I suppose that most of it is filled with, or covered with grey hair, almost white hair, some people would say, and that signifies that I am a pensioner. So one of the hats I wear is that I'm a pensioner, and I really should be retired and playing golf. However, I don't play golf well, and I get bored sitting doing crosswords, and so I'm involved with work in the European Institute of Oncology in Milan. I'm there 2 or 3 days, sometimes 4 days each week. I work in Bristol and in London. I have a publishing company called Cancer Intelligence, which is the publisher of eCancerMedicalScience.com or ecancer.eu, if you can't remember that mouthful. And eCancer Medical Science is the journal of the European Institute of Oncology and is partnered with ECHO, the European Cancer Organization. It's the first completely free online cancer journal, and it contains scientific articles which are peer-reviewed, everything done online very quickly, and that keeps me amused. I've got grandchildren whom I look after every Friday. There is nothing can break that life balance, so I pack two major hats into my week.
Right. And could you tell us something about the Eurocoms project?
Yes, of course. The notion of poor communication being a barrier to cancer research and cancer care has always been mooted as the Achilles heel in Europe. And I think this was strengthened with evidence that was gained during the Eurocoms Plus project funded by the European Parliament, which was looking at the blocks and the concerns which was slowing European cancer research down, and meaning that I mean slowing down. I mean slowing down the total time from something being discovered in a lab to something helping a cancer patient. And the evidence that we are slow is clear. The evidence that America is fast is also clear. We know that we do very, very good cancer research in Europe. Even the Americans agree on that. We also do it slightly more cheaply than the Americans do, but we know that our cancer care is probably not as good as it should be, and certainly not as good as the best in the United States. So we set about looking for an up-to-date, modern internet technology solution to try and address these barriers of communication. And the communication barriers exist between scientists themselves, working on different genes or different parts of the cell, scientists and clinicians and their patients, patients with their families and the community, and everybody has problems communicating with governments and people who pay for care, and most people have difficulty in communicating back and forward with the pharmaceutical industry on which we depend for the bringing to the bedside the discovery in the lab. So that's what Eurocancercoms was set up to address.
This sounds like a very enormous and exciting project. Where do you see ECL and other cancer charities fitting into this goal?
Well, first of all, I need to declare a bias, and that is that I was the Chief Executive of Cancer Research Campaign and then Cancer Research UK, a fairly big player in the European Cancer Leagues for a decade or so. And I very much admire the work that's done by ECL and have always supported it. So when we were looking at disseminating best practice, disseminating where to find a clinical trial, disseminating where to find a guideline, disseminating how you know what research is being done in the lab and is it useful or not. You would frequently think that the people who fund a lot of that process, the research and the dissemination, namely the individual cancer leagues within Europe, that they would be very important advisors.
I see, yes. Okay, thank you very much for your time with us today, Professor McVie.
That's all.